Okay, good stuff. Yo, people, I don't know if you can hear me or what's going on. My connection is terrible at this point. Absolutely atrocious. I think you should be able to hear me now. Yeah. So yeah. But I got Manny with me. How are you, Manny?
All good. Apparently, according to some people, I'm a waffle man and they don't want me doing this watch along, but here I am. And if you don't like it, never mind. I'm sorry about that.
Nah, no, bros. Guys, just keep it respectful. Keep it respectful, please. But it is just one guy or woman. We know. We don't know. Vamos Argentina, vamos Argentina. Be up yourself, Blue Terraces. Oh no. Be up yourself. Mate, be up yourself. Oh, money. Who will face Netherlands? Going to find that out. That's a big question. I'm going to get into the lineups now. Big changes we have seen in the Argentina lineup.
Not really a big change. From what I see, they've replaced Angel Di Maria, who had a bit of a knock, and they've brought in the number 17, Alejandro Gomez Villaverde, to take his place on the right side of the three-man attack. Rodrigo de Paul will be pushed back into the right of midfield in that 4-3-3. So no real change to Argentina.
Yeah. Yeah, no Lisandro not Lisandro, no Lautaro Martinez. Keep switching them around. And no Di Maria as well.
Yes.
Yeah, interesting that front three.
Di Maria is on the bench, so he could be brought off.
So yeah, but the back four, so I think the back four is the same as the last game versus Poland. So yeah, Australia, Matthew Ryan, Beige, Kai Rolls, Harry Schultz.
I'll go through the team lineup. It's Ryan in goal,
Yeah.
Dagenek at right back, Harry Suter and Kai Rolls are the centre backs. Aziz Behic will be the left back. So pretty much all the same, no change. No place for Nathaniel Atkinson, who hasn't recovered from that ankle injury. The midfield, Aaron Leckie on the right. And instead of Aaron Goodwin, it is Keanu Bacchus who takes his place on the left side of midfield. Aaron Moy and Jackson Irvine are the two central midfielders. And up front, to complement the 4-4-2 formation, it will be Riley McGree and Mitchell Duke. Duke, of course, scored the winner against Tunisia.
Go on, Mitchell Duke. I wouldn't be surprised. Yeah, same. I wouldn't be surprised. I want Argentina to win, but if Australia win, I'm not gonna mind. Aaron Michael, yeah. Oh, my bad. So, Aaron Michael, yeah, hopefully. So yeah, but yeah, it's going to be a tasty one on this one. So yeah. Let's hope this is a good game. Manny, your score prediction for this match?
Should be 3-1 Argentina.
I'm going 2-1. I think this will be a tight game. all know Argentina. They haven't been over convincing, but they are improving game by game. But one thing is for sure, we saw that versus Saudi Arabia. Like, if Australia can get the first goal, or not versus Saudi Arabia, but we have seen when teams get that first goal versus the big teams, it's usually a big struggle. So, so yeah, um, this game is going to be a real interesting one. But both teams have scored in all their games, which is hopefully going to be really exciting. Um, Going to make this game really exciting. So yeah, but Manny, who do you think will be the goal scorers? You're going for a big one. Who do you think will be the goal scorers?
Yeah, I'm obviously going for Messi to score at least once, but I also take a look at their attack and see nothing but quality in many areas. It'll be Messi to score one, along with Julian Alvarez and Enzo Fernandez. Those are my three goal scorers. And for Australia, if it's not going to be Goodwin, who's obviously not starting, it will probably be. You know what? I'm going to go for Matthew Leckie to be the goal scorer for Australia. It'll be 3-1. So no clean sheet for Emiliano Martinez, who has the Argentina flag colours dyed into the side of his shaved head. Certainly an interesting look, that.
Yeah, yeah. I'm going Messi one, and I think Alvarez to get the other one, and I think Mitchell Duke to get the other one. But interesting that um, there is no good one starting for Australia, which
Yes.
is, I think, for me, he's been one of the most influential players. Good one. Um, so yeah. We're going to see what happens. It's about to kick off, so we will see. As always, make sure to like, share, and subscribe if you are new. So yeah, uh, hopefully it's going to be a good game. We don't want to stick off a game, but I don't think it will be one that will be a stinker. But yeah, the the I will be a bit behind. Apologies, but yeah, nothing I can do about it. Um, so yeah,
Really sorry about that, but hopefully, once play starts, it'll be an exciting game, and I'm certainly looking forward to seeing how both teams will play. Of course, this is Lionel Messi's thousandth career game, his 169th for Argentina, and
yeah, yeah.
he's already
An
played
interesting
800.
fact: he has never scored in the knockouts. Never has he scored in knockout.
Well, we'll see. It looks as though Australia are going
So
to kick off proceedings, and it is, I believe it's Riley McGree who's standing at the centre. Or is that Mitchell Duke? Either way, it looks as though Australia are going to kick things off, and they're going to be attacking from right to left, and they've just kicked off now. And it's passed back to Harry Suter in the centre of defence, who sends that forward. Actually, that might not be Suter, it might be someone else. But already Australia are attacking quite quickly, and forced into some defensive duties is number 24, Enzo Fernandez. Jackson Irvine getting in amongst the action. So tell me when you kick off, and I'll tell you how far behind you are. It's
okay,
Milos
we're
Degenek
still
who's taking the
standing.
throw in.
Now they have kicked off, so I think about
So you're about 38 seconds behind me. And
40
Argentina now looking to try to go forward. Back to Sergio, Romero in the defense. That's Christian Romero, my bad. and
Three
Julian
votes
Alvarez
and
concedes.
three votes on the poll, and you guys are back in Australia. It seems like it's going to be interesting to
They just don't
see.
like Argentina, simple as that. I mean, they think that Messi will crumble under the pressure. But one of the things that people have been saying is that ever since that shock loss to Saudi Arabia, the Argentinians have been in knockout mode ever since, because both their matches against Mexico and Poland have been cup finals. So,
Yeah.
yeah, so since then they've had the mindset, they've started to get better. And it's not just Messi who's scoring now, it's a lot of other people. The vastly experienced Nicolas
Yeah.
Otamendi passes it to Christian Romero. Nahuel
So,
Molina at right
yep,
back.
everyone is watching. See, we got loads of people in here.
And a pass back to Emiliano Martinez. Otamendi. Acuna. Still with Acuna. Some head tennis going on. And Alexis McAllister can take it away. And Argentina have the ball through Rodrigo de Paul. So Australia is certainly pushing hard.
Again, sorry people if my connection is being out. To me.
Enzo Fernandez. Rodrigo de Paul. Moving ahead. Enzo Fernandez is now doing a lot more defensive duties and obviously trying to make sure that the ball doesn't go deep into the Argentinian defense. So Australia also started well against
Enzo
France
Fernandez.
with... yeah?
Nah,
You were saying?
go on.
Yeah, so that was with
Enzo
Molina at right
Fernandez.
back.
Yeah, Enzo Fernandez. He has also looked really good so far this tournament. Many teams again linked to him, so it will be interesting to see what happens. In this
Yeah, well,
match,
Argentina moving well down the left. It is with
if you can
Alejandro...
maybe
yeah, you're breaking up, Hannah.
yeah, I think I'm back.
Yeah, you're back now.
I got full bars. Yeah. The thing is, I got full bars when. One sec.
Yeah, so while Hannah attends that call, you're with me now, whether you like it or not. And anyone who disrespects me will immediately be blocked. That's a warning. If any of you don't like to listen to me or watch me, you are welcome to turn away. Any rude comments and you'll be blocked. And so that early chance there from Australia, a possible claim for a handball against Keanu Bacchus there, not really checked by VAR, but and then we see the FIFA president sitting in his chair in the box. And the game continues. Australia trying to get into the Argentinian half, and that's a poor header there, but free kick is awarded for a foul on Enzo Fernandez, and the Argentinians are going to have to get careful. Yep, that was in fact Matthew Duke who committed that foul, kicking Enzo Fernandez's foot, and that will in fact be an Argentinian free kick. Lionel Scaloni, who was a member of the 2006 squad where Lionel Messi was introduced. And Messi is, of course, one of the only members of that 2006 squad who are still in the team. I don't know if Angel Di Maria was involved. Let's see. And so Argentina haven't been able to penetrate too much into the Australian half. Certainly you can see how the likes of Jackson Irvine and company are trying to snap at their heels. Yeah, Di Maria wasn't a part of that squad. So basically, Messi and Scaloni are former teammates, former members of that squad. And the connection has been made. And obviously, ever since Scaloni became manager, he has been eager to try and build a new team. Not too many star players, but also a team which can support Lionel Messi and try and make sure they contribute as well. And so some good battle going on in the center. Rodrigo de Paul has it. And that is passed back to him by Christian Romero. Enzo Fernandez. Otamendi. And so it seems to be a bit of a three-man central defense with Acuna and Molina out on the wings. And Enzo Fernandez will look to try to move forward a little bit. And a foul there and a free kick being awarded to what looks like... Bacchus again pretty much getting into the action for the wrong reasons and costing his side a free kick. So 7 minutes gone. No goals as such. Chelsea fan, thank you very much indeed. And it's okay. I guess this happens. So it's passed back to Matt Ryan, who can try and take it forward. And it is with Otamendi now, who will try and bring it forward. The sideways pass to Acuna, the left back to Fernandez. Christian Romero, over to Nahuel Molina, the right back, who just can't take it forward at the moment, and some good defending there by Riley McGree. Otamendi. Acuna. And it's Gomez Villaverde who tries to take it forward. De Paul. Across the field to Nahuel Molina. Enzo Fernandez. And so far, the Australians have done a good job in sort of shutting down the midfield and not being able to allow them to play their game. And it could very well be that Angel Di Maria will be brought on sometime later to try to add a bit of experience and know-how. I mean, he's on the bench now as an injury precaution, but he should come in later if he's fit. And it's an Argentinian free kick. Taken quickly, or actually the referee brings it back. So for all the criticisms of Graham Arnold as manager, he's actually done a good job molding this team into a more tight unit. Gomez Villaverde and Messi loses the ball uncharacteristically, and Argentina still win it back, and it's with Alexis McAllister now at Brighton and Hove Albion. Acuna, Fernandez taking it forward, and it is Alvarez in the penalty area, but that goes a bit far beyond him, and that will be an Australian goal kick. So at the moment, Argentina do have most of the possession to the tune of 84-16, 5 times Australia, but again, not being able to do very much with it. And Aziz Behik, the left back, trying to take it forward. Nobody on the end of that, and that will be taken out. In fact, apparently there was a foul on Behik by Alvarez, who sort of bumped into him. Alvarez, of course, not quite able to get on that long ball, which would have put him one-on-one with Matt Ryan. And so after 10 minutes, it's Argentina 0, Australia 0. And this is a crunch game, obviously, because Australia will be looking to try to upset Lionel Messi and spoil his World Cup farewell. Matthew Leckie got on the end of that, but couldn't control that, and that will be an Argentinian throw. Decent control at first, but I think he lost his footing afterwards. McAllister. And one thing that can be said about the Australians, to their credit, is they haven't shown the Argentinians too much respect. Certainly, they've looked to try and swamp Lionel Messi and not allow him to get into his passing range. But they've also managed to control the other midfielders as well, because they know that if you can choke the support, you eventually get to choke Messi. Graham Arnold, of course, a former player in his time with the Socceroos, a part of the 1997 side, which just failed to qualify for the 1998 World Cup in France, losing to Iran in the playoff on the away goals rule, thanks in no small part to a 2-2 draw at the Melbourne Cricket Ground. At that time, Terry Venables was manager, having, of course, managed England to the semi-finals of Euro 96 the year before. De Paul, Alvarez. And still Alvarez, but can't get through the defense, and Behic is able to clear that away, but that will be an Argentinian throw. So this is good stuff from Argentina, and they're obviously going to hope to try to make sure they make the early pressure tell. It's as if they've got to keep huffing and puffing in the hope that they will blow the Socceroos' house down. Gomez Villaverde. And he started off on the right, but he's now switched to the left, and you can see how the formation transitions itself as the game goes. And obviously, there's been some talk about how Lionel Messi's game has evolved, and how he's just a more, I wouldn't say sedate, but certainly a lot more of a stroller these days, looking for the angles, and that will be offside against Julian Alvarez. Not by very much, but offside nonetheless. And Australia can attack now. I mean, they're sort of trying to build out from the back. Milos Degenek, the right back. And he passes it to Harry Suter, who passes it back to Matt Ryan. That's the other central defender, Kai Rolls. Suter, of course, born in Scotland, just like his teammate Jason Cummings, but now playing for Australia. And Hanno, is that you? Fanny! Good to see you on. How are you?
I'm all right. How are you?
Yeah, can't complain. So what minute are you on right now?
See, that's the question I had for you in the comments. I was like, I don't know if you could see me, but I am currently on 12:06.
Oh, you're still about more than a minute behind me, I'm afraid.
Bloody
Are you
hell.
watching it on the
I need
iPlayer?
to fix up.
Yeah. But anyway, I mean, aren't you able to watch the telly?
It's my grandma's using the telly, so I'm in my room watching the football.
You're a good boy. You know that? I'm not being patronizing. You really are. Didn't see you in the chat there, but I'm really glad you signed in. So at the moment, it's 14 minutes up, and it's still 0-0. Argentina have most of the possession, but Australia are snapping at their heels and not allowing them to, go forward. But there's a foul there on Marcos Acuna, and the referee's going to be quite strict with the Australians. He's just booked Jackson Irvine. So the key to Australia will probably be to try to stifle Argentina and not really allow them much scope into the game. I think what they're going to do is, as I said, try and make sure that the supporting players don't get that much in terms of, the ability to run going forward, because if they can't support Messi, then Messi will have to do things on his own. But they seem to be a little bit too aggressive in their approach. What do you think?
I mean, I personally think, just looking at this team, as we know, Australia are setting up for that counter-attack. I mean, Manny's obviously summarised it quite well in terms of how Argentina are approaching this game. And he mentioned earlier that Messi doesn't move. He's not as mobile as he once was. But that's when I think he's the most dangerous, because you don't expect him to create something out of nothing. And, I mean, as you can see, I've got an Argentina Messi shirt on right now. I'm repping the man. Hopefully he produces some magic. Who knows? But I think this game is going to be harder than people think. I don't think it'll be a romp per se. Only if Argentina get an early goal, that's when things will get interesting, which means that Australia needs to pump out. But Manny is looking intently. I wonder what's going on. As we know, he's a minute ahead of me, so it'd be funny if he reacts to something before me. I'm gonna be like, "What's going on?" But
well, here's the thing. Obviously, you mentioned Messi still being able to create some chances. He did find a through pass to Rodrigo de Paul down the right, but nothing much came of that. And that's the issue here, because again, it seems to me that they're doing a lot more of the running, the work in the midfield, trying to break through the Australian defence, but the defence is holding firm. And obviously, Harry Souttar and Kai Rolls are not really letting them come in. And of course, let's not forget Miloš Degenek and Aziz Behic, the fullbacks.
On a side note, I must admit, considering this tournament was slightly looked down in terms of the atmosphere won't be great, the Argentinians are bringing the noise.
Yeah, I can hear the noise, actually. Is it on BBC or ITV?
BBC.
And a shot there from Alejandro Gomez Villaverde, which goes right over. No shot on target as of yet. Obviously, doing the hard work of getting around Miloš Degenek, but then trying to shoot with Keanu Bacchus standing in the way and not really getting that much in terms of dice. So there is a lot of frustration at the moment, but obviously I think Argentina are going to look to try to manage the game a bit better. If they can't get a breakthrough, they're not going to worry that much. But a giveaway there by Jackson Irvine finds Rodrigo de Paul, and he gets it to Messi in the penalty area, who heads it out to Gomez Villaverde, starting ahead of Angel Di Maria. It's still with Messi, working around to Enzo Fernandez. Number 24, trying to get into the penalty area, but when you have a defender like Harry Souttar, who's about 6'3" or 6'4", you know that he can win a header. What?
I think he's bigger. I think he's the size of a flanker or something. I think he might be 6'7". He's a giant.
He is, yeah. It's a bit ironic that he's so much taller than the Australian goalkeeper Matt Ryan. And ironically enough, when that playoff went to penalties, it was the substitute Andy Redmayne, much taller than him, who was brought on to save the penalties.
I'll tell you what, I would not be surprised if Souttar used to play Aussie rules football, because he's a very good athletic guy for a big guy as well.
Yeah, well, the problem with Souttar is that he's actually a former Scotland youth international, born and brought up north of the English border, of course, and went on to play for Australia. So he, along with Jason Cummings, are the two Scottish-born Socceroos. And Australia in the penalty area now, and it's some tough times ahead, but some excellent defensive work there from... yeah, you might want to turn that down, all right?
They are defending. They're not just tight. They are really narrow.
Because, I mean, obviously, when I'm trying to hear the commentary, it clashes with mine. I'm sorry about that. But De Paul over there showing his experience and shepherding that out. And this is quite dangerous now for Argentina, because if they allow themselves to settle, Australia will snap at their heels. I realize that you're still somewhat behind me. I do apologize for that. That's the, but I guess that's the iPlayer for you.
So annoying. So annoying.
It is what it is. I mean, if there were a way that I could possibly pause my television screen to make...
I'm going to try and keep up until half time, and then we'll see after that, because it's... I mean, is there a way I can listen to this?
Yeah. Well, at the moment, Argentina is still pressing through Lionel Messi, and it's now with Rodrigo de Paul, trying to find Messi on the left, but that will be shepherded back to Ryan by Degenek. So to answer your question there, Souttar didn't play Aussie rules football. He was very much brought up in the Scottish system, but obviously has a role now as a more than versatile and very important centre-back. And certainly if Australia get a corner, expect him to be right up there trying to challenge the 6'6" Emiliano Martinez. So 20 minutes in, still no goals. And again, this almost has echoes of the Argentina-Mexico game, where Argentina couldn't break Mexico down. But one moment of Messi magic changed everything. Not too sure if it'll be that straightforward this time around, though.
I've got the feeling that this game might be like the 2014 Argentina game against Switzerland, where Switzerland... I'm not saying Australia are as good as Switzerland, but Switzerland were very resolute, and what it needed in that game, it went to extra time, was Messi got the ball from about halfway line, dribbled up the pitch, broke like about 3 tackles, passed it to Di Maria, and Di Maria put it in. And I can see something similar, like a piece of magic that unlocks the door, because it looks very, very Australia playing tidy at the back, I must say.
They are tidy, and that's the thing. I mean, Graham Arnold has coached them very well, and obviously he has an idea of the formation he wants to use. You won't see many coaches in this tournament adopting a 4-4-2 formation, but that seems to be in vogue right now. And it's the defenders who seem to be having sway, while Jackson Irvine has come into the game in the center of midfield. We haven't seen too much of Aaron Moy as of yet. Now he has the ball, and he passes it back to Suter. I mean, I'll tell you one thing about Suter. You're absolutely right. If he's so much bigger, he will not be missed.
Absolutely.
So, what were your thoughts on the Netherlands USA game? If you got to see that, because the winner of this
Yeah.
match obviously will get to play the Netherlands, and the Netherlands are looking really good now.
Yeah, I think in the group stages they were a bit rusty, I'd say. They weren't, like the well-oiled Dutch machine that we know turn up in these tournaments. But the first half, I think, was fantastic Dutch football. I wouldn't say it was total football like Cruyff,
Nope.
but it was that first goal especially. What a great move, great goal. Once that goal had been conceded by the US, I thought that's when things changed, because if the US got the first goal, it would have been interesting. It would have made for an interesting game, but first goal went in for the Dutch. Floodgates open. Second goal went in. Yeah, the US had that free goal, I must say. Did he mean it? We don't know. But the Dutch look good. I think if they do face Argentina, that'll be a very good game.
Indeed. And the first thing on whoever wins on the agenda of the coach whose side wins this game will be how to stop Denzel Dumfries and Daley Blind from having an impact down the wings, because Dumfries was magnificent and he deserved his third goal.
Yeah, 1 goal, 2 assists, magnificent performance. He did well in the previous Euros, and he slightly went under the radar this transfer window. When I thought maybe my team, Manchester United, would have signed him, but great player. Daley Blind as well. Has a tender age as well. I think he's in his mid-30s now, and he's doing really well. It's nice to see that touch as well with his father on the sidelines as well. Nice moment once again. Feel-good moment in the World Cup.
Blind, of course, is 2 caps away from joining the 100th cap club. He will earn his 99th cap in the quarterfinal, and if he gets to play in the semi-final, it'll be cap number 100. And as I speak, Australia have won a corner, so Harry Suter, that big lug is coming up. As I've said, he will be expected to play a role. Looks like it's Aaron Moy who's taking it. Should be a right-footed away swinger. And we see Mitchell Duke and I think Matthew Leckie surrounding Martinez right now. But Otamendi, the experienced Argentinian defender, heads that away. But it's still not away yet. Moy back into the penalty area, but now the danger is over. So, and obviously one thing which caught my eye was, I think you said it perfectly. They were rusty. They looked a little bit one-dimensional in the group stages, and obviously they weren't really their attacking best, but the formation that Van Gaal employed today, starting both Depay and Gakpo, it looks as though Depay is back to full fitness. I think that obviously lent a great deal more to the overall shape of the team and the attacking impetus. And of course, Depay ended up being a lot more influential in this game than during the group stages. Of course, he'd come off the bench and add impetus, but to see him score, that was good.
I think with that formation, it suits them as well, because naturally with the 2 players they play up top of Depay and Gakpo, they naturally will drift out wide, which means that, you have your midfield runners coming in to create opportunities, because you already know their fullbacks in terms of Blind and Dumfries will always be bombing up the side. So I think it works well. It's a good formation. Like I said, it'll be interesting to see if they do play Argentina, how that will work, because Argentina are very aggressive, but again, it's funny because you mentioned the corner, and I'm just seeing the corner now. So that just goes to show everybody watching how far behind I am, Manny. And it's weird how that's worked out, but we are where we are.
Yeah, but don't worry. Listen, if it's any consolation, you haven't missed very much. But I will, of course, whenever there's a goal, I will be obliged to mention that. And you can have the advantage of seeing that goal for yourself without my commentary, of course, and enjoying it for how good it is. But it is Aaron Moy now who has come into this game. And obviously trying to start something in the midfield, but being pushed back. Another back pass to Matt Ryan. And I know you said that you wanted Dumfries at Manchester United, but are you okay with Diogo Dalot?
I'm very happy with Diego Dallo. I think he's been magnificent this season. He's been very good both ways, defensively and offensively. So it's one of them ones. It's like, yeah, I would have been happy with Dumfries, but Dallo's been great. But going back to the this game we're watching right now, I must say this is what I did fear for Argentina coming into this game, that Australia were going to be dogged. They were going to be patient. They're all right with this going to extra time because, if anything, the onus is on Argentina to create something. Because if it goes to penalties, it's anyone's game, Manny.
It is, it is, it is. And obviously, um, when it comes to penalties, Argentina do have Emiliano Martinez, who was, of course, their shootout hero in the Copa America semi-final before keeping a clean sheet in the Copa America final and winning the Golden Glove Award. But he's not quite a patch on Sergio Romero, who was the shootout hero in 2014 yet. Obviously, it's sad how Romero pretty saw his career with the national team pretty much end. Still on 96 caps. Maybe he'll get a few charity caps to take him to the magic 100 before he retires. I don't know. But Australia on the attack. It's Aziz Behich, and he keeps that in play, but he's not really able to make too much of it. And Rodrigo de Paul wins a throw off Jackson Irvine. So slowly but surely, Sani, Australia are growing into this game. And the more you see the likes of Behich and Deganek move up forward, the more confidence they will get. And this can only be dangerous in many ways for Argentina.
No, agreed. I think this is, like I said, and you've completely summarized it perfectly. This is the issue. When you come up against a side that is very dogged, if you don't get that early goal, it's very hard to break the lines because naturally they'll find it comfortable to pass the ball around to maintain their shape. And it's very hard to create chances and openings. And this is when it comes back to the point, who's going to create that piece of magic for Argentina? I mean, looking forward to the way Australia advance up the pitch as well. I mean, obviously, I'm a bit late behind you, but they're playing pretty decent football, Manny. They're knocking it a ball nicely. They're actually advancing up the pitch. And realistically, Argentina are finding this a bit difficult at the moment.
Yeah, so a statistic from days gone by, Messi is the youngest and oldest footballer to score and assist in the same game at a World Cup. But that was, of course, in the game against Mexico. And a corner taken by Australia and some action in the penalty area. It was headed down, but the defense were able to clear that. And so I think defensively they have improved a little bit. There might be some controversy, of course, about the selection of Cristian Romero ahead of Lisandro Martinez. I do believe that when it comes to, height, especially when it comes to set pieces, Romero might offer a little bit more. And obviously, Australia will look to try to score from set pieces. Of course, Martinez is also quite decent in the air. But if it means having to deal with the big lug that is Harry Suter, you wouldn't want to be stuck with a 5'9" central defender, would you?
No, I think that's well summarized again. I think also this goes to show that in international football, especially, it's not necessarily your best players that always fit into your starting 11. Sometimes you need to see who you're playing up against, who actually works for you. I mean, a lot of English fans that might be watching as well have the issue of why does Harry Maguire start for England? But Harry Maguire doesn't really put a foot wrong for England. So why would you not start him? He might not be the best player for Manchester United per se, but at the end of the day, it's what suits the system the best. And Harry Maguire is perfect. Just like I think, although Martinez, I do like him and I might be biased to say he should start, he might not suit Argentina's system. And I think Manny made a good point as well in terms of the height. Would you really trust Martinez, who's 5'6", going up against, let's say, 6'6" Suter? Or would you trust Romero, who is at least 6'1", 6'2", going up against Suter? I'd rather trust Romero. So against Suter. So I'd rather trust Romero. So it makes sense.
Yeah, I'm glad you agree with that. And of course, after that dreadful game that you lot had at Brentford, where Martinez also played, I think he's been able to grow into the role since then. And that, of course, saw Maguire being dropped for a bit and then during a period on the bench. And Messi's now into his own now. But the problem is, when you've got about 5 Australians surrounding you, you cannot hope to try to go through them. And they've been able to coalesce quite well around him, but they've also prevented any real supply to him as well from the other midfielders. So it looks as though, Argentina might have the edge in possession, but Australia are fighting well. And if Argentina lose their composure, well, you never know.
You never know. But the one thing that is surprising me is why aren't Argentina trying to break the lines and make those runs in behind. It doesn't make any sense. Yeah, fine. Australia are keeping a lot of men behind the ball, but if you have no penetration against a team like this that sits back, it's going to be difficult.
Right, and we see over here the number 14, Riley McGree, going to ground. He was fouled by Marcos Acuna, so it will be a free kick to Australia. And we've just come up to the 31-minute mark, so obviously no goals in this one. Definitely a very cagey affair. Of course, for all of the battles that have been taking place in midfield and beyond, neither goalkeepers had to make a save. It will be Aaron Moy to take this, and he's going to look to try to push this up into the penalty area to try and see if he can't get a teammate of his, to head that. And of course, with Harry Suter there, that height is definitely an advantage. My goodness. Moy with the free kick into the penalty area, but that is harmlessly out of way, and that will be an Argentina throw. So what you get with this watch-along is not a normal watch-along where you see people just watching the game and saying, why did you do this? Why did you do that? As if they're talking to the players. For me, I like to go into commentary mode a little bit like whether it's Motson or Moore or any of those greats, that's what you get with me. Because if you're watching along while watching the telly, you want to get something better than that.
I think with Papu Gomez and Alvarez, I really do think Argentina could do with a formation change as well, because I feel they're very isolated up top as well. And there's not enough penetration. And I personally would have stuck Alvarez down the middle. I know they've gone with Messi down the middle here, but obviously we know Messi drifts out wide. And I think if it keeps continuing like this, I just bring a Martinez because they need an actual number 9 who's going to stretch the lines, stretch the centre backs, and pull them apart. And obviously, then you can have penetration going through the middle. But yeah, it's a weird.
I see where you're coming from there. I mean, I think the problem is when Lautaro Martinez was given his opportunity, he also wasn't quite able to score the goals he wanted. Yeah. And they're going by the performance against Poland, where it was the front three who pretty much did a lot of the damage. Messi and, of course, obviously Alvarez, and then McAllister also chipping in from midfield with a goal. I think it's fair to say that the 4-3-3 formation would have been the best way to go about it. And some good work there from Lionel Messi. Behic trying to get into his face, saying, you don't scare me. But some good work there from Messi ends up winning a throw for Argentina, and Behic tugging Messi's shirt.
I think that's how you got to do it against these great players. Yes, of course, they are fantastic.
And that will be you're right. I think that's probably what they have to
fight him face to face, head on.
Yeah, well, obviously that strategy hasn't worked now because there's a foul against Gomez Villaverde, and it will be an Argentina free kick in a potentially dangerous position.
Ooh.
So
can't wait for Manny's reaction if there's a goal now.
Behic again. And waving his finger, saying it wasn't me. Sorry, son, we all know it was you. Wind your neckhead. And so who's going to take this? Will it be the master himself? Well, it has to be. Left-footed in-swinger from Messi. Will try and get into the penalty area. Of course, Suter is there to potentially head it away, but we will see. Beautifully flighted in, but headed away. And Messi again on the right, cutting in, passes it to Alexis McAllister, who finds Messi in the penalty area. And Argentina are 1-0 up. And the duck of Lionel Messi, having not scored in a World Cup knockout round, has been broken. 35 minutes in, the magician has waved his wand with the free kick.
Messi.
Yep, with the free kick, and then with the passing, and now with that goal. No chance at all for Matthew Ryan. And you're going to get to see the goal, see the goal, obviously, Sani. But I want you to comment on that because that is once again Messi at his best.
I can't wait. I've just seen Behic foul, so the free kick is about to be taken. So I am watching this intently now.
Yeah, make sure you do. Make sure you do. You will not regret it.
It's crazy to think this is his first goal in the knockout stages in the World Cup. I think that's crazy. Here we go.
Whoops.
Oh! Sorry.
Well, what do you think?
This is vintage Messi. Vintage Messi. Gets the
Yeah.
ball on the right flank, passes it to the central midfielder, gets it back, albeit fine, it was passed to the other player, gets the ball, bends it deliciously in that bottom left-hand corner, as we've seen for so many years. Goal number 789 in his 1000th appearance. What a freak.
Freak is just right. An absolute freak of nature. And Alexis McAllister is now down. And you could see, I'm not sure you would necessarily see the floodgates opening, but we are now seeing that the over-aggressive approach from Australia is not really reaping any dividends. And you see there Keanu Bakus, who already committed a foul and was already lucky to escape a possible handball just around the penalty area
That
early
is
on.
such a hard
It's
finish from Messi. He's put it through Suter's legs.
Yes, exactly. Through Suter's legs. Not exactly what you'd call a nutmeg in that sense of the word, but that was just beautiful vision there. And Matt Ryan, the former Arsenal goalkeeper, of course, had no chance with that. Christian Romero now passes it back to Emiliano Martinez, who needs to be careful with his kicking, but eventually finds Marcos Acuna, who heads that just out for a throw. But Acuna is down, and there's another person who goes into the books. It's the right back, Milos Degenek. And you can see right now, this is one of the reasons why a team like Australia, if they don't have that creative player and have to resort to a lot more aggressive, in-your-face tactics, it will certainly not be helpful. And you can see over here, getting his hand and his head right into Acuna, head-butting him. And especially with concussion being a serious issue, that is not something you want to see.
No, definitely not. Definitely not. I think Argentina now in a very good position. They've got that goal. They can now keep the composure. They don't need to take too much risk now. And then from there, they can pick off Australia slowly because Australia are going to have to chase the game in the second half now, especially if it stays 1-0. And that's when things will get interesting for Argentina, especially with the pace they have in their front line. And obviously, Messi is still going to be playing. It could get bloody.
Yeah, but here's another issue, though. We were talking about Alejandro Gomez Villaverde, I think, and we were talking about how he might be a little bit isolated. It's from what I've seen of him, he hasn't really been able to get into the game too much. Of course, Angel Di Maria was benched as an injury precaution, but do you think Scaloni will bring him on for the second half?
I think if it gets to 60, 65 minutes and Argentina are still finding it hard to either get him involved in the game or he's struggling to find his own mark in the game, I think they will make a change because you can't have a passenger in a knockout game. No way. And what Manny said does make sense. I haven't really seen a lot of him. He does find it hard. Hence why I said I was a bit surprised that, they haven't changed it up. Obviously, it's the first half, but they've got the goal. But I think second half, I think what Manny says, could come to fruition. I think they'll change it up. I think around 60, 65, especially if Australia have more of the ball. But again, we'll see.
Yeah. And bear in mind as well, we all remember the result of the first game where you pretty much compared me to a certain AFTV personality afterwards. Argentina, of course, did score first through Messi and had the ball in the net 3 times, only to see each of those attempts disallowed for offside. Saudi Arabia came back into the game, scored 2 goals in a freakish 5-minute period, and then they lost. But a lot of people were saying, and I think you will have to agree with me on this, Sani, that loss to Saudi Arabia was the best thing that could have happened to the Argentinian team because it enabled them to reset, as it were. Obviously, their unbeaten record was gone, but they knew what they had to do. And especially given the way they approached the games against Mexico and Poland and ensured that they would top the group outright, it's fair to say they've been in knockout mode ever since. So
I
think
slightly disagree. I wouldn't say it was a Saudi game. I think it was the Mexico game. The reason I say that is because that Mexico game was very, very scrappy. I'd say up until Messi scored that goal, Argentina didn't look that good. It was very cagey. I get Manny's point about they changed their mentality, but I think as a Mexico game, I think once they'd won that game, we saw against Poland, they put on a performance. That was the Argentina we've come to know, and obviously a lot of people are favoured for them to win the World Cup. And I think since then, that's when Argentina have been dangerous. And in a weird way, I was speaking to an Aussie who likes cricket. His name's Assad, and
I know Assad very well. I know him very well. We all know him.
I compared the Argentinian team, the football team, to the Pakistan cricket team in the sense that Argentina are very unpredictable. And when they go on a run, Argentina, just like the Pakistan cricket team, very, very, very hard to stop. And I think Argentina are the same. I think very unpredictable. No one thought they were going to lose to Saudi. Obviously, lost that game. And ever since then, they've been on a rampage. And right now they look a bit unstoppable, and they've got a big game against the Netherlands if they win this game, where anything's possible.
Yeah, and there's a foul over there on the edge of the penalty area. I mean, just outside, and it looks as though the great man himself is on the floor, which really doesn't bode too well. Hopefully, it's not an injury. You might have a point about the Mexico game, because I do agree that they were, a little bit scrappy in the first half, couldn't really get into the game. And of course, if they weren't able to, get the result they needed, then their World Cup would have been over. It's also fair to say that they were lucky that Mexico and Poland played out that goalless draw, because it meant that there was a clearer path for Argentina to get back into it. It was simple. They just had to win their games. And of course, with the cricket connection, I'm reminded of the Australian cricket team in the 1999 Cricket World Cup, where they struggled in the earlier group stage. And when they reached the Super 6 stage, they didn't have the bonus points they needed, while Pakistan and New Zealand from their group had the bonus points. Pakistan had 4, New Zealand had 2. But Australia ended up winning 6 of their 7 games. The only game they didn't win was, of course, the tied semi-final, which counted as a win anyway under the circumstances. And they went on to win the title. So I guess it just goes to show you never know what you can do until you've got a gun against your head.
No, of course. And going back to that 99 Cricket World Cup, I know this is football, but they actually lost to Pakistan in the group stages. And then,
yes, they did.
In the final, they blew them away. But also with that World Cup final as well, I mean, semi-finals, Manny's kind of, brought a memory down. I mean, he's gone down memory lane. I don't think I was even a baby then. But as Steve Waugh once said, I think it was to Herschel Gibbs, you've dropped the World Cup. And hopefully, for Argentina's sake, let's say Messi's not injured, as I'm just seeing the scenes now, they have not dropped the World Cup either.
Well, at the moment, Messi is up and running, which is a good sign, of course. And so all Argentina have to do is just do what they're doing and avoid making any mistakes. And I think the composure that they show will be key. The reason why I have them as favourites, of course, is because they also, the composure that they showed to beat Brazil at the Maracanã in the Copa America, it was just amazing. And obviously it was terrific to see Messi end his international drought with that Copa America. It's fair to say as well that given earlier years when he viewed playing for Argentina as something of a chore or something as something tortuous, if you will, he seems to love being involved with the Albi Celeste now, and especially in light of things going sour with his first love, Barcelona. He now relishes his status within the Argentinian team, and I think that Copa America win has brought a sort of helped lift a weight off his shoulders.
I think that was the massive change, because in that final, I don't think Messi played like he normally does. But it goes to show that if you have a team around you that can lift you or lift the team, overall, when you might not be having the best game, it says a lot. And of course, Manny's mentioned the previous Copa America finals that he's made, or even, the World Cup final in 2014. There were a few moments that other players had that could have helped Messi lift, even take that burden off him, but it wasn't the case. But I think now Argentina have that dogged side, that mentality's there, and it's going to help Messi. I mean, Craig's mentioned quite a good point here. He said, will Messi do what Maradona did? Maradona won the World Cup by himself in 86. Looks like Messi's doing the same in 2022. That's if Argentina go on to win the World. I agree and disagree. I think Maradona in that 86 World Cup, from what I've read, what I've seen, was a sight to behold. I don't think Messi personally, and I love Messi, I've got his shirt on, I don't think Messi's had that same sort of impact, in my opinion, on Argentina like Maradona did. Maradona, I think people say, I know it's cliche, but I think he single-handedly won Argentina that World Cup. especially with the performances he had. Manny could, divulge further, but that's what I think.
Yes, when you say single-handedly, I think many of us England fans will know the hand with which you're talking about. And the lack of remorse he showed, of course, was really galling. He called Shilton a buffoon not too long afterwards. But
God rest his
listen,
soul,
I
that
think
is.
it's also fair to say that if his first goal was downright cheating, the second goal, and I'm sure Craig Malloy will agree with me, was an absolute thing of beauty. And as I speak, we are now into the first minute of the 2 minutes of added on time, and obviously Australia trying to find their way back. There was a bit of a nervy moment, not quite nervy, but it was sort of played across the Australian goal. But Ryan and his defenders had that covered. It's Aaron Moy now in the center of the field, trying to get that out to Jackson Irvine on the left. Irvine trying to get it through to Behic. That goes out for an Argentinian throw. And I think if they see out these next 30 or 40 seconds, they'll be home and dry. But again, if I were Lionel Scaloni, I'd be telling the boys not to rest on their laurels. There's still 45 minutes to go. And Australia is still looking quite dangerous, still snapping at their heels. And we see now that they're having some difficulty in trying to clear that. And it's still with Australia right now.
And I think this
playing
World Cup
forward.
also goes to show if you rest on your laurels, you may come back to regret that, especially in this World Cup with the shocking results we've seen, the drama, especially at the end of the games as well. So I agree with what Manny's saying. Scaloni needs to drill into the side that listen, it's not over until the fat lady sings, and we will see. But yeah, half time, I guess.
Yep,
in this
half
game.
time exactly. And so I'll make sure I get the ticket changed. It's been pointed out to me that because I'm so engrossed in the game and engrossed in a lot of other things, I forget to do this basic duty, especially if I'm in control of the studio right now, as it were. It's my responsibility to change the ticker, but so far so good. No real complaints. And you're now probably watching the game the half come to its conclusion. I mean, obviously, we agree that Australia can't rest on their laurels, but so far, so good for the Albi Celeste.
So far, so good. All you need to know in these knockout games is getting that W. And if Argentina are winning, fine, it's good to look good like the Dutch did earlier to a certain degree. But if you're winning whilst playing poor, can you imagine what it would be like if you're playing great? And at the end of the day, Argentina this is a hard game. People think, oh, it's an easy walkover. No World Cup game can be easy, especially when you are literally go win or go home. Australia haven't made the knockout stages since 2006. There's a lot on the line for them as well. So it's not going to be an easy game, and Argentina just have to be dogged and see this through, like you said.
Yeah, and I actually want to shout out a few friends of mine. Big up to Borche from the football capital, and of course Steve-O, the Aussie Gooner. I've been speaking to Steve-O quite frequently, and obviously he and I chat back and forth on Instagram, and we go on streams together with Del Boy Gunner TV. What's the crack? What's the bleeding story? Shout out to you as well, mate. And Steve-O was telling me that he was not the biggest fan of Graham Arnold as a player, who he played obviously more than 50 times for the Socceroos, and was a part of that team, was just missed out on the 98 World Cup. And as coach, he was never really able to get the team to play to a certain style and really take advantage of their potential. So obviously he's pleasantly surprised with the way Australia have played. And, the fact that they were able to get a result against the Danes, especially, given that they weren't an advantage following their win over Tunisia, certainly speaks to the inner toughness that Arnold seems to have instilled. And he also made quite a few controversial squad selections in dropping his own son-in-law, Trent Sainsbury, who was playing in Qatar at the time. And there's no Tom Rogic from Celtic in the squad. Obviously, he's hitched his saddle to the wagon of young talent. He's got the number 21, Garang Kuol, in the team, supposed to be quite an exciting talent. And still the old order of Aaron Moy, Matt Leckie, and Jackson Irvine, and one or two others. But obviously, he seems to have drilled that sort of toughness into the team. I guess the only problem is that Australia may be lacking that sort of creative, visionary style player who can really make things happen. I mean, Moy, for example, makes his name as more of a good defensive midfielder. So in this 4-4-2, he's more of a central midfielder. But there's no one really creative. And for all of the endeavour of the likes of Matthew Leckie and Craig Goodwin on the wings, there's not that much creation in the team. They don't really have that Messi like figure. Would that be a disadvantage or an advantage for them, perhaps?
I think it's a disadvantage only because if you have someone that's going to garner that much attention, is going to make an issue. You're going to have 3 or 4 players around that said player. The thing with Australia, like I said, they're very organised. But if they had a player like Messi or that creative talent, it would mean something. I mean, the USA we saw previously, had they had a striker, then it would have been interesting. And I think for Australia, if they had that one creative player who could get on the ball, it'd make things very interesting.
Yeah, completely. But and again, the reason why I say that is because the lack of goals could come back to hurt them. Because let's not forget, I mean, they've scored 3 in the group stages, 1 in each game. But of course, they were ripped apart by that French team, which really, turned on the style after going behind. And it was poetic justice in a way to see Theo Hernandez replacing his brother and then going on to have a really good game himself. I think Luis Hernandez was twisted around by Goodwin by Lecky for that goal and ended up injuring his knee. So as if Theo Hernandez was saying, "You did that to my brother. You shall face the consequences." And my apologies to any Frenchmen, of course, who are watching. That was absolutely awful. But France also look really, really good despite their injuries. And maybe it just goes to show that even if you have a few injuries, as long as you have a really good squad, you will be fine. So are you confident of France going to at least maybe the semi-finals?
I think the French will make the semi-finals. Agreed. I think there's something about them. They have match winners across the pitch: Griezmann, Mbappe. I think Giroud's a very good player, especially against England, where we have Maguire, who's very solid. I think they've just got really good options off the bench that they know how to use. I think we're just a bit unsure as to where we can fit all our players sometimes. And although yes, Rashford's on a very good hot streak at the moment, if Kane doesn't get the goals, I just don't fancy us scoring that many goals. And it'll be interesting to see how that quarterfinal shapes up if it is the French versus us. But we will see what happens.
Yes. Senegal definitely look very dangerous and they can certainly give us a run for their money. They had an awful start as well against the Dutch, but recovered well. And when they had to win against Ecuador, they won. So talking about them, of course, AFCON champions, there is a lot to like about them as a team. And they certainly going forward can provide some speed and possibly get in behind our own midfielders if we have an off day. But that's going to be for another day. Now, I know you're going to have to leave, but I am going to make sure that you get your chance to speak. So before you leave, do please shout out your socials, your channel, and tell us where we can find you and tell us about the interesting initiatives you are taking right now.
Of course. So yeah, thank you, Manny. If those of you who don't know me, my name is Sani, that sports guy. YouTube channel is Sani That Sports Guy. Likewise on Instagram, it's Sani_That Sports Guy. I cover all things sport. Of course, it includes football. At the moment, I've been going absolutely crazy with the World Cup content. Hanno, of course, has been doing magnificent stuff with his watchalongs. Make sure you subscribe to Hanno as well. He's a hardworking kid, puts a lot of effort into his streams. And I think it's crazy because, I mean, considering the time zone difference as well and how he's got school, I don't know how he does it. But listen, check out Hanno's Coach's Corner. Check out Sani That Sports Guy. And any of the initiatives that I'm doing. I mean, I do a lot of charity initiatives, fundraisers, which, it turns out that you can win tickets to a fight such as Tyson Fury versus Derek Chisora, which is happening today, which, one of my followers won that giveaway. But yeah, check out the page, check out the channel, subscribe if you think it's interesting. And check out Hanno's Coach's Corner for more watch-alongs because I think there hasn't been a game he's missed. And of course, you will always be there to see Manny, the trusted commentator, but he's not just a commentator. He's a sports analyst, sports aficionado. So yeah, check him out. But for now, I need to go because unfortunately I am behind the stream. So I unfortunately envy Manny, who is ahead. But like I said, check out Hanno, Coach's Corner. Check out my channel if you have some time. And see you soon, guys. Peace.
All right. Thank you very much for coming along. And certainly this stream was a lot better with you in it. And I certainly hope that we can, catch up again in the future. The Sani and Manny show. That would be nice. I'd even put my name after yours if you like. But as you can see, of course, Argentina are 1-0 up, but not home and dry by any means. It's another moment of Messi magic, finally breaking his duck of not scoring in a World Cup knockout match. 1,000th career game. 169th for Argentina, I believe. What a player he is. And of course, that puts him only behind the legend that is Gabriel Batistuta in terms of World Cup goals for Argentina. So hopefully he will get a chance to tie that and or go past that before this tournament is over. So, I mean, of course, as an England fan, I am programmed to not really like the Argentinian team that much, but I do have a soft spot for Lionel Messi. I cannot, of course, forget about our former Arsenal goalkeeper, Emiliano Martinez, who came in from the cold in the 2019-2020 season to help us recover to finish 8th and, of course, win the 2020 FA Cup. And he's now gone on to, of course, bigger things with the Argentinian team, Copa America champion, and now first choice at this World Cup. And the second half is not too far away, and obviously the Argentinian fans outside the Ahmed bin Ali Stadium are cheering in delight, and also many Argentinian fans around the world. And he's also captaining Argentina for the 100th time, so the captain stepping up magnificently. And so, final reminder, you can catch our dear friend Sunny on Sunny the Sports Guy on Instagram and Twitter. Do check him out, some terrific initiatives. He obviously enjoys talking about sports as much as I do, maybe even more. And it's always good to have him on, and I hope to have him on for another watch-along sometime soon. But yeah, definitely it's been terrific so far, and I'm really glad that he's helped me out today. And if there's anyone else who'd like to come on and keep me company, you are more than welcome. I will put the link in the chat right now. This is the link right here. It is StreamYard.com/CUCEGZAUPH. That's StreamYard.com/Charlie Uniform Charlie Echo Golf Zulu Alpha Uniform Papa Hotel. Copy and paste the link into your browser, or just click it. And if I see you backstage, I will definitely add you on. Keep hitting the like button also, don't forget. And of course, Craig has brought up a wonderful memory. Never forget Gabriel Batistuta scoring against Arsenal at the old Wembley Stadium. Oh, yeah, those were the days. The days when we were playing in the Champions League but didn't have a big enough stadium, so we played at Wembley, and it didn't suit our game. And then we made the decision not too long afterwards to move into Cash-Burden Grove, as a lot of people call it. But it is what it is. It is what it is. So a reminder, a moment of Messi magic. 35 minutes in has put Argentina 1-0 up, but Australia have got a lot of fight in them. They are not allowing Argentina back in too easily. And if Argentina do manage to win, it will be a very hard-earned but deserved win. But Australia can come back. We saw Saudi Arabia score 2 goals against them in the second half during the group stages, and there's no reason to suggest that Australia won't do that here, except, as I've mentioned, they probably don't have that much of a creative player. But when you've got Lecky and Bacchus along the wings, Jackson Irvine also running very hard from midfield, Aaron Moy also with set pieces. So far, McGree and Duke have been quiet, but they could spring to life in the second half. You never know. And obviously, when it comes to Argentina, as we were discussing, Gomez Villaverde has not been able to get into the game that much, so I would like to see Di Maria brought on as soon as possible. Other possible substitutions, maybe Paredes could come on to strengthen the midfield, maybe. I know that Dybala is definitely an option to bring on as a forward, as is Lautaro Martinez. But I guess it's a case of so far so good, and the 4-man defense of Nahuel Molina, Christian Romero, Nicolas Otamendi, and Marcos Acuna have so far stood their ground quite well. And Emiliano Martinez has not had a save to make. And Australia's defense has done well, of course, except for Harry Suter seeing the ball go through his legs and past Matt Ryan. Behic has done well at left back, but looked a little bit too aggressive. Deganek as well has also been a little bit aggressive with his fouls. 4-man midfield seems to be doing fairly well, and it looks as though Irvine has moved up front while McGree has sort of slotted into the left side midfield slot, and that means that Backers is coming to the center of midfield. So a lot of players moving around, swapping positions here. So obviously Garan Kuol could be considered as an option to come on, as could Jason Cummings. Craig Goodwin can certainly come on later on in the game. Jamie McLaren, Bailey Wright, perhaps, Awar Mabel. So many possibilities. And right now, the teams are just about to... is Messi now the top goal scorer in the World Cup? That is a good question, mate. I think... no, for Argentina, he's not. He's still behind Batistuta. I think you know that. And of course, for this World Cup, he scored against Saudi Arabia. He scored against Mexico. He didn't find the net against Poland, but now he scored tonight. So he's on 3 goals. So no, he's not the leading goal scorer in the World Cup. In fact, he's tied alongside Cody Gakpo, Marcus Rashford, and company. See Emiliano Martinez there speaking to the referee. Wonder what that could be about. And now we see the Aussies standing in the stadium, ready to come back onto the field. Lionel Messi, of course, with his captain's armband, leading the team out for the second half. Wonderful to see how they're all behind him, how they look up to him, despite his limited height. The little giant, as it were. Mate, as always, it's a pleasure. And listen, if you ever feel as though you want to come on and have a chin wag with me, here's the link. Do not hesitate to come on only if you want to. Yeah. Big up as well to everyone else who's joined in. Chelsea fan, Sani, obviously, Blue Terrier 19. Thanks for coming on. Everything Football Ferreira, and yeah, once again, to any trolls who are going to be disrespectful, you aren't worth being mentioned by name. Right, so it's time for the second half now. I'm just going to change the ticker. And Argentina just about to kick off. Lionel Messi has just kicked off, and they are attacking from right to left. And obviously the emphasis will be on them to try and make sure they avoid making any mistakes, avoid letting Australia come into the game. But, you know, you can never, ever sit on a 1-goal lead. And as I speak now, there's some dangerous activity going on in the Argentinian half, but I think that seems to be dealt with. So no substitutions made at halftime. Yeah, don't worry about that, Hanno. I've got this. So, yeah, Aaron Moy intercepting there and passing it all the way back to Matt Ryan, who comes out of his area. He'll try to chip that forward, and he can't find the man. That will be a throw-in to Argentina. Rodrigo de Paul now. Gomez Villaverde getting it through to McAllister. Now Messi. And a rather clumsy tackle over there, but that's not punished. Marcos Acuna down the left. Referee probably opting to play the advantage. Fernandez. De Paul. Molina. Back to De Paul, who runs through, and that will definitely be a free kick. And obviously, Australia not really able to create very much, have resorted to fouls. Not a nice strategy. It wouldn't be surprised to me if more and more Aussies are sent into the book. De Paul. And pass back to Martinez, who has it under control. No, he doesn't. But eventually he gets away with that, and that will be a throw-in. Well, Emiliano Martinez there being intercepted by Matthew Duke. And Duke over there was sort of able to intercept that, but thankfully for Argentina, nothing much came of that. That, in fact, went straight through to Acuna on the left. Actually, not Matthew Duke, that was Mitchell Duke, my bad. can't get the names wrong. That's completely unacceptable. But Christian Romero now. Enzo Fernandez. And Nahuel Molina now trying to run out. Take it forward. Gomez Villaverde, De Paul. Messi, deep on the right. Sends it all the way down the right where Molina can pick that up. It is back with Lionel Messi, who has made the run. And the game's started to slow down a little bit, but it is still forward. Taking it through. McAllister to Messi. Lays it back. Messi then passes it to Marcos Acuna on the left. Nicolas Otamendi. Alexis McAllister, the number 20. Back with Otamendi. And that is Romero. Otamendi, who needs to take it forward. This back pass play will prove to be dangerous if Argentina aren't careful. Molina, who's come back to defend. Fernandez, who sort of dropped really deep and hasn't really been the attacking force that he was in the group stage. Gomez Villaverde. And that will go out for an Australian throw. And the pressure will be back on the Argentinians. And as expected, Gomez will be brought off, and it will be Lisandro Martinez who will be brought on to add to the defense. So clearly, Scaloni has decided that Gomez hasn't been able to get into the game as much as either he or the coach would have liked, and he's brought on an extra defender so that Enzo Fernandez can possibly start to be more attacking, because Fernandez has been pretty much stuck in defense all this time. So there are 3 central defenders: Otamendi, Romero, and Lisandro. And I think defense might be possibly key, but this could also help Acuna or Molina come up and overlap. And as I speak, there is some good activity down the right in the penalty area, and Martinez gets that back. Not Martinez, that was McAllister who was able to get that and pass that to Lionel Messi. And Messi this time taking a shot, but unable to beat Matt Ryan. In fact, that actually took a bit of a deflection off Degenek and went on its way to Matt Ryan. Aaron Moy now for Australia. 50 minutes played, 40 minutes to go. Still 1-0 to the Argentinians. Degenek now with the ball. Passes it back to Harry Suter. And that is, of course, played away, but it is now back with Australia through Moy and now Behic. Aaron Moy once again. Behic is on the wing. And can Argentina break through Irvine? No, they can't. I mean, Australia, rather. Australia couldn't break through, and Argentina were able to get that away, but it's still back with the Aussies. Harry Suter now to Milos Degenek. McAllister. And that should be a free kick. Another obstruction there from, this time from Bacchus, who was picked ahead of Craig Goodwin today, but has been making far too many fouls. So Argentina have now transitioned into what looks like a back 3 with Molina and Acuna, the wing backs. I only hope that will be good for Fernandez, who doesn't have to defend so much. And Acuna plays that through to Alexis McAllister. But Acuna loses out, and that will be passed back to Ryan. But McAllister wins it back. Fernandez. Romero. And that eventually finds its way to Aziz Behic, the Australian left back. But Argentina win it back once again. And this is a good period of sustained pressure now. Fernandez to McAllister to Acuna now. Lisandro Martinez. Otamendi. Romero. And once again, Fernandez is back deep. Otamendi. A pass back to Martinez and a dreadful back pass. But thankfully, Martinez was able to deal with that. And there are a few moments of uncertainty there. The normally experienced Otamendi selling Martinez a bit of a dummy there. Unfortunately, the Aston Villa goalkeeper was able to deal with that fairly well and cope with the pressure. But some creaks appearing in the Argentinian defense. And that will ease some of the pressure. And Angel Di Maria looking on. Obviously wasn't picked to start today as a sort of a health precaution, but he will probably come on later on unless his injury is that severe that he can't even run. Martinez, of course, the Golden Glove winner in the Copa America, as mentioned. Christian Romero. Under pressure from Riley McGee. And that will be an Argentinian free kick. Coming up to the 54-minute mark. And this is a pretty worrying period for Argentina. Obviously, they were able to break down the Australian resistance in the first half, but in the second half, as we all know, it's a different story. And now it's an Australian free kick for a handball against Julian Alvarez. And Scaloni now shouting instructions to his players, probably to keep it tight. Suter passes that back to Matt Ryan, a much better back pass than Nicolas Otamendi's was. Enzo Fernandez, Alexis McAllister, Marcos Acuna to McAllister. Up against Bacchus, who's sticky to him like glue. And a long pass back to Otamendi. Romero. And that finds Nahuel Molina on the right, who seems to have taken it upon himself to overlap and transition into more of a right winger in a way. But another pressured back pass to Martinez, who sends that long. And now Ryan comes out of his area to head that away. And he heads that wide for a throw. So an important intervention there from the Aussie captain, who saw Messi coming up on his own. That'll be another Argentinian throw. And it is Molina who will be taking the throw. So might seem to me that Molina has now taken it upon himself, as I've said, to stay up the field while the three central defenders take the responsibility of guarding the back. Acuna is also quite up the field. Messi, blocked by an Australian defender, but it's now with Alexis McAllister, who scored against Poland. And that is back safely with Matt Ryan, who throws that all the way to Aziz Behich. Kai rolls. And Ryan's under pressure, and he's lost it. And will that be the second goal for Argentina? Yes, it is! Julian Alvarez from Manchester City has put Argentina 2-0 up in the 57th minute, and the normally reliable and dependable Matt Ryan has just had a shocker. Not a moment he will want to look back on with fondness in any way. And you can see the team coming together in the huddle. They know how important that goal is. And could that send Argentina through to a quarterfinal date with Netherlands? Well, This is his second goal in the tournament, and he has certainly been a find. So it all started with the throw from Ryan to the left back, and a back pass to Kai Rolls over there. Not very well dealt with by Ryan. A very heavy first touch. Rodrigo de Paul putting Ryan under pressure, and of course Alvarez was there to take it from him, pick up the pieces, and have the composure to turn it past Ryan into the net. Brilliant stuff indeed from the young man. So, Argentina 2, Australia 0. And with that, Arnold has decided to bring off Backus and McCree for Craig Goodwin and the Australian number 10, Ajin Hrstic. So, coming up to the hour mark, and that is the best possible time for Argentina to get their goal. It was around about this time, in fact, that they took the lead against Mexico. I don't know if we will necessarily see the floodgates opening, but at the moment, Australia are not offering very much in terms of offense. And certainly their lack of quality in the final third is starting to tell. Acuna now, through Suter's legs, just like Messi's goal. And the pressure continues to tell. Dagenek somehow wins the throw, but he is not a happy chappy by any means. Once again, another reminder, live coverage of the FIFA World Cup on this channel. Do not forget to like, subscribe to the channel, and click for notifications. Yeah. Well, it's not game over yet, though, because there's still about an hour to play. In fact, 31 minutes to be exact, and it's never going to be over until the fat lady sings. But you could say that she is, well dressed right now, but she hasn't yet opened her mouth. And Dagenek right now with the throw. And we see the likes of Garang, Kuol, and others warming up for Australia. Could Kuol be brought on to make a difference? A throw into the penalty area, headed away. Alvarez, Acuna, back to Alvarez, who will try and move forward and take it forward. And that's going to be a free kick to Argentina. Enzo Fernandez once again being scythed down. So just taking a look at the goal once again. De Paul doing some excellent work putting Ryan under pressure. And the rest is history. Alvarez nipping it off him, turning it in. Kai Rolls wasn't able to get a foot on that. 2-0 Argentina. Now we are at the hour mark. Half an hour to go. Is it game over for the Aussies, or will they find a way back? Lisandro Martinez, who will try to find Julian Alvarez up front, and Kai Rolls passes that back. This time does a better job of it. Dagenek rolls. Back to Dagenek. And you see now that with that second goal, the RGs are running at the Aussies now. So the tables have turned. The tables have turned. So obviously, that second goal against the run of players put Argentina in the driving seat. And now Australia are going to have to try and find a way to possibly get back in it. But Argentina, if they can turn the screw, if they can prevent any more attacks, I think they should be able to see themselves out. Hrstic, the substitute. Hoping to find Behic, who he does. Aaron Moy. And Jackson Irvine, back to Moy. Behic, hoping to find Goodwin, which he does. And a poor foul on the substitute Goodwin, who of course opened the scoring against France. And if Christian Romero is not careful, he could end up going into the book. Yeah, pretty poor tackle there, really. Didn't look like getting the ball. Not fair to say that Goodwin made a meal of that, because I'm not sure that, it's in his DNA to make a meal of something. But, men's football being men's football, it is what it is. Well, thank you very much indeed for that. I appreciate that comment. Welcome to the channel, and I hope you subscribe. I hope you like this video, and click for the bell button for more notifications. And should be Moy to take this kick. Probably going to try and swing it into the penalty area. Actually, it's not Moy. Well, certainly the idea was good, and that was well kept in play. Sort of sailed over the defense, but somehow kept in play quite acrobatically at that. It's back with Aaron Moy, who will send it out left. And certainly with Craig Goodwin having come on, the left looks a lot more accomplished. Why he was dropped for Keanu Bacchus, I'm not too sure. Was he carrying an injury? A bit of a blunder there from Graham Arnold, really. Fernandez. Messi, who certainly looks anything but. In fact, he looks very tidy. And now that's played out to Marcos Acuna on the left. And that should be cleaned up nicely by Romero. De Paul. Passed all the way out to Molina on the right. McAllister. And it finds its way to Lionel Messi eventually. Now with Lisandro Martinez. Enzo Fernandez. Otamendi. Christian Romero. Rodrigo De Paul. And the referee waves play on, so Australia have won it back. But Argentina win that back, and that puts an end to that. Lionel Messi. Still Messi. Through the defense. Passes it to Alvarez. Still Messi in the penalty area. Still Messi. And it's a corner. Well, the magician is starting to weave his wand. He already weaved it once in the first half, but he's done it again now. And Degenek was the man who sent that behind for a corner. And Argentina will certainly look to take advantage of that. And you can see how much it means to the fans. Raising their hands in tribute to an absolute master. 1,000 career games, 789 goals, as our friend Sani said. What a brilliant record. A short corner that was taken by De Paul to Messi, and De Paul now swings it into the penalty area, hoping to find an Argentinian head. That was on Otamendi's head, but it couldn't find Christian Romero. And now Lisandro Martinez has to tidy that up and pass that back to his namesake Emiliano. And again, interplay between the two Martinezes. One, of course, with Manchester United, the other one with Aston Villa. Finally, again, actually, that wasn't Lisandro Martinez. That was Nahuel Molina, the right back. I do apologize for that. This is Lisandro Martinez now, who passes it out left to Acuna. Messi. Acuna down the left. And you see now Argentina starting to look very dangerous indeed. And that cross came in and just evaded everyone. Had an Argentinian player been on the end of that, that would almost certainly have been a goal. But they're still attacking, are the Albiceleste. It is with Messi now. And this time the shot is over the bar. But this is now the stage where Argentina is starting to turn the screw on the Aussies. As if they're saying, well, you've had your fun trying to stifle us, but now it's our turn to show you how football is played. Aaron Moy. Kai rolls. Jackson Irvine now. Harry Suter. Adjan Hrustic, the substitute. Degenek going down the right. Irvine. Degenek again. Gets that through Lisandro Martinez's legs. And Australia win a throw. Well, this is going to be an interesting stage because we're almost coming up to the midway point of the second half. Australia will always have a chance as long as there's time, but they do not have very long in which to make an impact. Chris Goodwin now on the pitch, and looks as though he will be taking this free kick. Left-footed, trying to swing that in from the right. And that's a brilliant free kick, but Emiliano Martinez finally gets into the action, claiming that very comfortably indeed. And one of the things to admire about Emiliano Martinez is how he's been able to claim high balls with such alacrity. I don't think he's spilt across all tournaments. And of course, when you are at the height that he is and can claim cross as well, it's always an advantage. And can Australia get back into it? Well, that's kicked high in the air by Lisandro Martinez. That could land anywhere. And that lands dangerously on the right, but Lisandro Martinez, to his credit, wins a throw for Argentina. 22 minutes left now, plus stoppages. And this isn't going to be game over by any means. Orest's in the building. Big up to you, son. Thanks a lot for joining in. And listen, the link's in the chat if you want to come on and say hello and just have your say. Click the link and I will let you on. Otamendi. Romero. Back to Otamendi. Lisandro Martinez. Messi now, who's literally everywhere. He's on the right, he's on the left, he's on the right. He's having one hell of a night. Once again, interplay between Otamendi and Romero. Passed out to Lisandro Martinez by Otamendi. Lisandro sends it forward. Does he find Marcos Acuna? Yes, he does, but Degenek is there ahead of him. Actually, Acuna, ooh, well, the linesman catches Acuna pretty much kicking, sort of bundling Degenek out of the way and awards a free kick. So looks as though Argentina are going to make some substitutions. And it also looks as though we might not see Angel Di Maria because that injury he sustained is looking a little bit too serious. But I guess it is what it is, and Argentina have about the best part of 20 minutes plus stoppages to see out this Australian challenge. And not taking any chances there. That's some good defending by Lisandro. Finds Acuna now. And that should be an Australian throw. So, for one thing, I do feel sorry that Enzo Fernandez has not been able to get into the game very much. And we see the legend that is Timothy Cahill, legendary former Socceroo, of course, a veteran of 4 World Cup campaigns, former captain of the Socceroos, of course, and his country's all-time leading goal scorer. It's actually an Argentinian throw, so, well, I stand corrected again. That was taken by Julian Alvarez from the looks of it. And Argentina will look to make a couple of substitutions, including bringing on Lautaro Martinez and Nicolas Tagliafico. So a forward and a defender. And I wonder who'll be coming off. It will be the number 9, Julian Alvarez, who, of course, has made a terrific impact this tournament and certainly tonight with that brilliant piece of opportunism. He'll be getting a standing ovation, and Lautaro Martinez will be coming on. And it will be Marcos Acuna, the left back, who will be coming off. So the number 3, Tagliafico, will be coming on in this place. Probably a defensive-minded substitution from the looks of it, but it actually got the numbers wrong there. Number 8 should be in red and number 3 should be in green, but it's been mentioned and it is what it is. So Tagliafico for Acuna and Martinez for Alvarez. And we now see Garankuo coming on for Australia in a triple substitution. And it will be Mitchell Duke, Miloš Degenek and Matthew Leckie coming off. Garankuo, Jamie McLaren, and the number 5 for Australia, Fran Karacic. So definitely a last roll of the dice with about 18 minutes to go, plus stoppages, of course. And we see Tagliafico now down the left. I think Tagliafico will probably be entrusted to try to manage the game a little bit more. I don't think we'll see him bomb up necessarily, but you never know. Otamendi, Christian Romero. Nahuel Molina, who's had a fine game at right back. Rodrigo de Paul sending it forward to Messi. And that should have gone out of play. No, it's been kept in. And now we see Lautaro Martinez, the substitute. And he ends up tripping over the Socceroo defender, but the referee opting to play advantage. Rolls passes that to Karacic, who has taken Degenek's place at right back. Behic, Aaron Moy. Out once again to Karacic, the substitute. And that's headed away by Lisandro Martinez. But Australia are going to chase that. And the number 9 McLaren, they're doing well to keep that in play. And that is headed dangerously back into the penalty area, but safe hands himself. Emiliano Martinez claims that. And I'm not too sure what Martinez is doing going to ground like that, but as I mentioned earlier in the stream, he does have the Argentinian colours dyed into the side of his head. Very stylish. And that should be allowed to go out for an Australian throw-in, very deep into their half. And I wouldn't necessarily say that Argentina are looking comfortable, but they're certainly managing the game very well for now. Of course, big up Orist. Please keep subscribing. 270 is nearby. South, thank you very much indeed. I hope you subscribe to this channel. I hope you like this. And click the bell button for notifications. We'd love to have you as a subscriber. And as Chelsea fan himself has said, big up yourself, South. So, about 15 minutes to go. Best part of 15 minutes, really, plus stoppages, of course. And we now see Garang Kuol in. He's been raved as this upcoming new talent. Certainly someone who could be expected to light up the Australian team in the future. But now he's got a job to do. And it's Lautaro Martinez who does a good job winning that ball. It's with Tagliafico now, the substitute. And with that shot, I think he's shown why he's more of a defender than an attacker. Completely, some excellent interplay right there between Martinez and Tagliafico, running onto that ball quite brilliantly. He had the goal at his mercy, but instead screwed that completely wide with his left foot and didn't even hit the target. And a foul there on Lautaro Martinez by the other number 22, Jackson Irvine. But the referee playing an advantage and seeing Tagliafico miss that. And so if it stays this way, of course, Argentina will face the Netherlands in the quarterfinal, and that should be a tasty contest indeed. Obviously, the Dutch attacking midfield, as shown today against the US, will be looking to play as well as they can. They'll certainly look to dominate the Argentinians, but Argentina themselves have their own talisman, and it will be up to the support staff to make sure that they nullify the Dutch team while also giving Messi a lot more scope to do his thing. Behic, the left back, playing it forward. Romero sending it back. It's with Aaron Moy now. Still with Behic, running down the left, crossing it into the penalty area. And that is, well, against the run of play, Argentina have a goal back. And it is Craig Goodwin, the substitute, who is able to somehow send that into Argentina's net via a deflection. And the Aussies are back in it. Well, some good work down the left. Behic has been outstanding, of course. Not the best of clearances, that, by the experienced Otamendi. And I'm going to take a look at that. It actually came off Enzo Fernandez there, the unlucky fella, sending that inadvertently into the net, and Martinez could do nothing about that. So on 77 minutes, Australia have pulled one back. James McLaren, 77 minutes. I don't know why I keep saying Archie McLaren. I'm thinking of someone else from days gone by. Sometimes in the heat of the moment, I forget the names as well. I've had to have people correct me, but it is what it is. Fernandez now hoping to atone for that mistake. And so obviously with that mistake, it means that Argentina are back in it and the substitutes seem to have worked their magic. Goodwin in particular has been outstanding. Maybe he should have started instead of Keanu Bacchus. It's a thought. And I think if Argentina end up winning and Australia go out, Graham Arnold will look back on that decision and think, you know what, that was probably a blunder. Lautaro Martinez now. Lionel Messi. Back with Messi, who sends that to Tagliafico, but that is intercepted. And Australia can play out. But Tagliafico gets it back and wins. Well, it's kept in play. Brilliant stuff by Tagliafico there. Rodrigo de Paul now. Is he going to try for a shot? No, he's not. He's going to leave that to his captain. Passes out to Tagliafico on the left. Tagliafico into Messi now in the penalty area. Tagliafico can now run on the left, and that should go out for a corner. So, Argentina coming back hard. They did not like conceding that goal, and possible offside against Tagliafico. No, the linesman played him on. Well, apparently the corner wasn't given. It was an offside against Tagliafico. So, 79 minutes played, 11 more to go, and another substitution for Argentina, a double substitution. Alexis McAllister and Nahuel Molina coming off. And it will be the number 14, Palacios, who will replace McAllister in midfield. Ezequiel Palacios. And the number 4, Gonzalo Montiel, who will come into the defense. So I'm not too sure what Scaloni is trying to do. Is he trying to, continue to defend? It's hard to say. But at the moment, Australia is still very much in it. And now we're almost into the last 10 minutes with stoppages to be included afterwards. And that is played forward by Karacic, but Romero is able to head that away, but only as far, of course, as Behic. Interplay between Goodwin and Behic, and Behic now running into the penalty area. Excellent stuff from the Australian left back, and some brilliant defending there from Martinez prevents another goal. So Behic, once again, having an outstanding game, and some great work there from Martinez with an important sliding tackle. But it'll be a corner, and that means we will see Harry Souttar coming up. And this is a very nervous and dangerous period for the Argentinians. They thought they were almost home and dry, but the Aussies are back in it. Swung away, left-footed, and that goes over Emiliano Martinez's net. Hristic with that final shot there. So just take a look at this work from Behic. He's able to go past one defender, between 2 and 3, past the fourth, but then the fifth one was his eventual end. And couldn't really get that shot through. And Graham Arnold, all he could do is hold his head in his hands. And there's a little bit of infighting now. Not quite infighting, but certainly a lot of frustration. And Argentina are going to have to make sure they have all hands on deck. But if they can also attack and find a way through, that should end this match as a contest now, because we are into the last 9 minutes, obviously, with stoppages as well still to come, and there will certainly be more than a few minutes added on. Well, certainly not straightforward, but Australia win a free kick. Well, Australia coming back and coming back hard. And I suppose, given that the Argentinian second goal came from a goalkeeping error, it probably stood to reason that it would be a defensive mistake that would let Australia back in. Aaron Moy now. The Australians smell blood. But again, old safe hands himself, Emiliano Martinez, clutches that and goes to ground. And he's going to be told not to waste too much time there because there isn't really too much time that he can waste. Coming up to 7.5 minutes left. And that is sent all the way deep into the Australian half, but that will be an Australian throw. And Scaloni urging his men to come up forward. Thrown back to Matt Ryan, who this time is able to deal with that a lot more convincingly. Kai rolls. Aziz Behic again, sending that forward. That should be headed away, but Kuol over there getting into the act. And he ends up conceding an Argentinian throw. And Romero's on the ground right now. 7 minutes left, exactly. Yeah, basically swinging his elbow into the face of Romero there. And so will that be a free kick, perhaps? I think Messi seems to be tiring a little bit. Obviously, there's just the highlights of that goal. A very slow goal, 53 kilometers an hour, a spin rate of 10.7, but it certainly didn't give Matt Ryan any chance. And so his goal really has been the difference between the two sides, with defensive errors being responsible for the other two goals in this game. And as mentioned, 789 career goals in his 1,000th appearances. What a statistic that is. Lautaro Martinez headed back in dangerously, and a rather dangerous kick there from De Paul, but that should be dealt with fairly well. Irvine, though, winning that back brilliantly. And Argentina now play it forward. And will Matt Ryan come out of his area? Yes, he does. Sends that away. And I think the referee has pulled play back a little bit. No, he hasn't. That will be an Australian free kick from their own half. Aaron Moy with that. Harry Suter passing that to Hrustic, who was able to evade Palacios brilliantly, but some excellent work done there by Enzo Fernandez, who will now start running in deep. He threads a pass through to Lautaro Martinez, who tries to get into the Australian penalty area, but is, impeded, not illegally, of course. The referee waves play on. Aaron Moy gets that to Garan Kuol, and Australia can hope to try and build an attack. And that has officially been credited as an own goal by Fernandez, by FIFA, so I will change that. So we're well into the last 5 minutes, and this is, as of course, what the great Alex Ferguson would say, squeaky backside time. Argentina can play it out now. It is with Lionel Messi, and he wins a free kick. Harry Suter getting a little bit too aggressive. So, the Netherlands could possibly knock out Argentina because they do look to have a better all-round team. Same here. But we shall see. And we've already reached 270 subscribers, so thank you to those who have come in. Let's go to 280. Thank you very much indeed, Chelsea fan, for that update. Argentina now through De Paul, trying to get in. And it is the number 4, Montiel, who's now come up. De Paul again, trying to weave his way through. Can't seem to shake off Craig Goodwin there. Will this be a good win for Argentina? Kept in play, but Moy intercepts that. But it's still back with Argentina. And pass now to Messi, who finds Tagliafico. And Tagliafico was being chased over there, but he was able to shake off his defender. And now Romero comes into the proceedings, trying to play it from the midfield. And Argentina cannot afford to give the ball away because Australia will certainly look to try and attack. Messi now. And that That is played to the penalty area, Lautaro Martinez, and that needed someone on the end of that. I'm not too sure if that was intended to be a shot or a cross, but if it was a cross, it was far too far for Tagliafico to get on the end of that, and that goes out for an Australian goal kick. Once again, through the legs of Harry Souttar. But fortunately for him, this time not into the net. So, what will happen now in these last few minutes? And Mystic Werewolf has come into the building. Werewolf, good to see you. Good to see you. Thanks for coming in. Goodwin, the instigator of that own goal. And it's been won back brilliantly by Palacios, and it's now with Messi. He's got Palacios to his right. He's got Lautaro Martinez to his left. Passes it to Lautaro Martinez, who completely fluffs his lines. All he had to do was turn that in along the ground into the net, and Messi knows his teammate completely mucked that up. Brilliant work by the Argentinian captain, and Lautaro Martinez sends that over the bar. So into the last 2 minutes now. In fact, we have exactly 1.5 minutes left, plus stoppages if there are any, and I'm sure there will be plenty. And this is backs to the wall stuff now from Argentina, who are defending desperately right now. Obviously, with Garan Kuol, he hasn't quite gotten into the picture as of yet. It's been Hrustic and McLaren and Goodwin who have done most of the work so far. And that's into the penalty area. And that is kicked high up in the air. Does Martinez claim that? Yes, he does. He was under pressure, of course, from Harry Souttar, and obviously there's a lot of niggling going on over there, and Martinez is down, clutching his knee. Well, this is going to add to the stoppage time, obviously. It is Jamie McLaren over there, but an excellent defensive kick there from Palacios. And an awkward landing there for Emiliano Martinez, who landed awkwardly on his left knee. It would be a bit of a loss if Argentina were to lose their first-choice goalkeeper, but he is fine. He's shaking it off, and he can sort of take the team into added time. 10 seconds left. And the reason why I say this is because the other two goalkeepers in the squad are Franco Armani, who was first choice for Argentina in 2018. Actually, technically, he was third choice, but after Sergio Romero's withdrawal and William Caballero performing poorly against Croatia, he ended up playing the third match against Nigeria and also starting against France as they lost 4-3 in the second round. And we have 7 minutes of added on time. Is this 7 minutes of agony for Argentina, or can they somehow find a goal to end this game as a contest? Well, Lautaro Martinez has been a bit of a nuisance so far for Australia. Certainly been able to find his way into the defense and run wide, but his shooting boots have not been on tonight. Rodrigo de Paul wins that. It's with Lionel Messi now, who's under pressure from Garan Kuol. And Messi weaves his way through, but Aaron Moy sends that out for a throw. And the first minute of the 7 minutes of stoppage time has been played. And of course, if there is going to be an Australian equalizer and it finishes 2-2, we will go into extra time. And De Paul and the referee exchanging a few words there. And the Argentinian crowd are still quite happy. They know that they're 2-1 up with a few minutes to play, obviously, but Montiel now has the throw, taking his time from the looks of it, and that is into the penalty area. Lautaro Martinez with a tame header there, and Aaron Moy can clear, but back into the penalty area, and this time Matt Ryan claims it and sends it all the way up. And once again, it's desperate defending time for Argentina. Hooked away, hooked back in, and that will be an Argentinian throw-in, and that will be over. So, not really a vintage performance by Argentina, but they've certainly shown that they have a dogged side about them. And, well, now Argentina have won. It is with Messi. He's got Martinez on his left. And this time it is Martinez on his left, but it's saved by Matt Ryan. For once, going along the ground and doing the right thing, but this time the keeper saves it. Comes up big. It's back with Enzo Fernandez, who's now come into the proceedings. And it's somehow kept in play by Montiel. Montiel again from De Paul. And that's intercepted by Aaron Moy, and Argentina can break through, or can they? Yes, they can. On second thoughts, no, they can't. De Paul keeps that in play quite brilliantly, gets that to Messi, and it's Messi up against Aaron Moy. Messi comes out on top, but only just. In the penalty area, will it be Messi? No, it won't. Once again, threatening to take it all away, just a little bit too high, a bit too wide, and Australia can breathe again. 4 minutes left of the stoppages. Aziz Behic, the left back, sends it in. What a game he has had. And Argentina are able to deal with that well. It is with Fernandez, who passes it to De Paul, sends Messi on his way. It's now Messi against Kai Rowles. And still strolling, really, if you will, and he finds De Paul again, back to Messi. And he's got some players snapping at his heels, and he's sort of dummied them, and there's De Paul in the penalty area now, and it's somehow inexplicably, cleared out, and it's pinball now in the penalty area. Enzo Fernandez now. Palacios. Messi again. And blocked again. But Lautaro Martinez. It is Lautaro. Still Lautaro. Kicked away by Matt Ryan. And it's come back out to Messi, who skews that wide. But it's all happening out here. And Argentina are trying their best to end this as a contest. Coming up against a very determined Argentinian attack. And maybe if Messi had controlled that with his right foot, he would have had a chance. But as it stands, there are 2.5 minutes left. Australia can still get an equalizer. And there's still some very desperate defending going on. Aaron Moy out to Karacic, the replacement right back. So Nathaniel Atkinson still wasn't quite fit to start. Or come on. De Paul gets that away, and that is brilliantly won back. And De Paul and Aaron Moy sends that behind for an Argentina throw. Wouldn't say behind, he sort of sent it back, if you will, but that went out for an Argentina throw. And in NFL terms, Argentina gained some more yards. Of course, big up, Werewolf. 2 minutes of stoppage time left. One would assume that there would probably be another minute added, but the Albiceleste fans are waving their shirts. They can taste that quarterfinal spot now, but there's still a lot of work that has to be done. And obviously, with passing like that, Argentina aren't going to get there yet. But Irvine passes it back to Ryan. Matt Ryan now, who will come out of his area and try and send that forward. How far does that go? It reaches the head of Craig Goodwin, but that is fairly well defended. And some more head tennis about to go on right now. And Rodrigo De Paul can whack that back towards Matt Ryan. I think they probably decided that enough is enough. Let's just see out these last few minutes. So obviously Argentina with a late sting in their tail, but it's still not over. Hristic now sending it all the way forward. Does it find Goodwin? Yes, he hooks it back in. And some more head tennis going on. Garan Kuol getting into the act, but not able to get it settled. Hristic. And that is sent all the way to the left. And an important header that was from Gonzalo Montiel, but that finds its way to Behic. Goodwin, crossing it in. Headed away by Otamendi. And it is 30 seconds left now. Last throw of the dice for Argentina. Garan Kuol! Brilliantly saved by Emiliano Martinez. And that would have been the young man's chance to make a name for himself. Evaded his marker brilliantly, all alone. But the Argentinian number 23, stepping up when it matters. Making himself big, sticking out that big left hand of his. And you assume that that would be that. That's what you want from a goalkeeper. The ability to stay inactive for 89 minutes and then pull off a save like that to almost certainly send the team through to the quarterfinals. But there is still some time that's going to be played, and we could see yet another few seconds added on. And Martinez now, well, that's probably going to be offside against Ezequiel Palacios. That's not going to help. But it doesn't matter because the final whistle has blown, and Argentina are through to the quarterfinals, and they will play the Netherlands. And just how important was that save from Emiliano Martinez from Garang Kuol? Well, Kuol was never really made that much of an impact in this tournament for the Socceroos, but he very nearly had it. And confirmation of the final scores. Of course, Messi putting Argentina into the lead in the 35th minute, sending them in 1-0 up. A goalkeeping error from Matt Ryan, leading to Julian Alvarez doubling their lead. And it all looked so academic, but then Australia finding their way back in through a very unlucky deflection of Enzo Fernandez for an own goal. But then at the very end, it was a combination of some desperate defending and attacking from both sides. And at the very end, Garang Kuol had his chance to send it to extra time and be an instant hero. But Emiliano Martinez coming up with a big, big save when it mattered. And so it was tough, but Argentina have found a way through, and they will face the Netherlands in the final. So confirmation of the scorers: Lionel Messi on 35 minutes, Julian Alvarez on 57 minutes, a very desperately unlucky own goal from Enzo Fernandez there, and I will also edit this to add the confirmation. Yes, so confirmation of the scorers once again: Messi, Alvarez, Enzo Fernandez with the own goal, but Argentina will face the Netherlands in the quarterfinals. And I'm going to check the comments right now. Yeah, Daniel Dubois. It was crazy. Well done, Argentina, a good win. Could this be Argentina's year? Hard to say. Certainly, Blue Terrier, Argentina have shown that they can certainly attack well and create more opportunities. I think in the case of Lautaro Martinez, he really needs to get his scoring boots on. No excuse for some of the misses he's had. But obviously with Montiel and Tagliafico coming on to replace Molina and Acuna, they've certainly shown that they can attack very well indeed. Gonzalo Montiel, in fact, was the one who came on. And there's certainly quality in all areas of the pitch. I think the decision to bring on Lisandro Martinez added a bit of solidity to the defense, even if it made it look a little bit clunky at times. Otamendi was probably guilty of a few poor clearances, including that clearance which led to the own goal. But I think they're going to look back on some of the mistakes they might have made today, look back on the things they did well today, and prepare well for the Dutch. The Dutch certainly put on a footballing masterclass against the USA today, but the Dutch are not unbeatable, and I'm sure they will find a way to... Argentina will find a way to stifle them if they can, but whatever happens, that quarterfinal will almost certainly be a terrific, terrific game. So, once again, confirmation of the final score. Argentina 2, Australia 1. Argentina will face the Netherlands in the first of the quarterfinals, and that promises to be an amazing game. Tomorrow, we've got two tasty matches coming up. It will be France against Poland and England against Senegal. They will, of course, be... playing for a place in the quarterfinals themselves. A possible quarterfinal between France and England certainly looks very tasty indeed, but Poland and Senegal cannot be ruled out. Poland probably may be a little bit toothless without Robert Lewandowski, but I'm sure their manager will find a way to get more people involved. Certainly the likes of Piotr Zielinski will have a role to play, and in Wojciech Szczesny, they have one of the goalkeepers of the tournament so far. And of course, Senegal will have recovered very well. Poor start against the Netherlands, with Edouard Mendy being grossly at fault for the 2 goals conceded against the Netherlands, but recovering well to get the win they needed against Qatar. And then when it came to the crunch, they were able to pull out that win against Ecuador, which sent them through to the last 16. So once again, confirmation. I'll probably be on for another 2 or 3 minutes, but again, if there are any of you who would like to come on and have your say, I'm still waiting in these next few minutes. This is the link right now. Copy and paste the link into your browser. Otherwise, I will probably end this stream in the next few minutes or so. And I know there are going to be some questions about whether or not this is Argentina's year. I know Blue Terry asked that question. It's going to be difficult to say. I mean, it certainly looks as though fate seems to be smiling on Argentina right now. And also, it must be said that Argentina have certainly done their work in terms of knowing how to play different situations and how to combat different players as such. Once again, highlights of the match, including that beautiful strike from Lionel Messi. That was a strike worthy to win any game. And the goalkeeping error from Ryan, Alvarez taking advantage of that, and it looked as though Argentina would be almost home and dry. But then, of course, that very unfortunate own goal, which, put Argentina momentarily on the back foot. And near the end, of course, Garan Kuol with the opportunity to send the match into extra time, but brilliantly denied by Emiliano Martinez. So you want to see all players in all positions contribute. You want to see, everyone basically pulling their weight, as it were. And of course, we're taking a look at the bracket right now. Netherlands and Argentina will be a classic match for the ages. Argentina, of course, getting the better of Louis van Gaal's Netherlands in 2014 en route to the final, of course. That was, of course, in the semi-final when Argentina played the Netherlands. But this is a very different set of teams, obviously. And Louis van Gaal will quietly fancy his chances. The Masters sort of worked magic today, certainly, but Lionel Scaloni will also fancy his chances as long as they have Lionel Messi. And spare a thought for Australia, of course. They certainly put up a good fight today. They've scored in every match of the tournament, including today. And today, obviously, as Sani and I were discussing, the lack of a creative midfielder has pretty much been their downfall. Obviously, the likes of Leckie and Goodwin on the wings have been outstanding, but they haven't really been able to score too many goals, and their own lack of a goal scorer will perhaps come back to haunt them in a way. And certainly the decision to drop Craig Goodwin and start Keanu Bacchus instead will be remembered as a bit of a blunder on Graham Arnold's part, because since Goodwin came on, he looked, sharp and incisive. We now see the players celebrating. Emiliano Martinez being carried on his back by the third goalkeeper, Geronimo Rulli. I think Rulli also, as a fellow goalkeeper, knows how important that save was. Happy and united. And onward they march. But Australia have done well this tournament, and certainly with the likes of Kuol and other youngsters in their team, they could be a force to be reckoned with if they qualify for the tournament in 4 years' time. Of course, this time around, they faced difficulties in qualifying for this tournament. They struggled in their Asian group, losing to Japan at home, of all things, and had to go through a playoff against 2 playoffs against the UAE and Peru to get here. And Andy Redmayne, of course, was the hero in that playoff in the penalty shootout, but as fate would have it, he didn't get to play. And this is how it's worked. So Argentina go through. The Aussies and the US are out, but both of those teams have added to the tournament. But the quarterfinal will see 2 more experience, quality footballing nations coming together, and that will be a match you do not want to miss. And of course, once again, tomorrow we will see Poland playing France and Senegal coming up against England. Those are two teams which are two games which you will not want to miss. Obviously, England and France will be expected to win both of those games, but Poland and Senegal will have other ideas. And once again, showing highlights of the Messi goal. That is something that can be watched over and over again. I don't think he will ever score a more important goal than that in his career. So once again, thanks to all of you who have joined in the chat, everyone from the beginning. A huge shout out once again to Football Ferreira, Everything Football, Nas, of course. Blue Terrier, thank you very much indeed for joining in. Chelsea fan, shout out to you. Craig, as always, thanks a lot for joining in, mate, and thanks a lot for this update. Ben White will not be traveling with the Arsenal squad in Dubai. Clearly, he's got some troubling issues, and I hope he is able to deal with them. He has been an asset for us this season. I hope he will be okay to continue playing this season, but whatever happens, his mental health will be the first priority. We've seen something similar happen with Sol Campbell all those years ago. And as the new people who have joined in, thanks a lot to the two of you who've joined in and who have complimented me. I really appreciate that. I try my best. And of course, a huge shout out. Let me just mention Sani, the sports guy, for joining in at the beginning. I want to thank you once again for joining in and having a chat with me and making everything a lot more palatable, if you will. And it's been absolute fun having you all on. Once again, goodbye to you. Thank you very much indeed, Chelsea fan, for your support. So once again, thanks to all of you who've joined in, and we hope to see you again tomorrow on the Coach's Corner. But until then, take care of yourselves, stay safe, stay happy, enjoy your Sunday. Don't do anything I wouldn't do. And for now, from the Coach's Corner, this is Manny Thangadurai, and I am out.